we were invited to the American ballpen party by the Pentel R.S.V.P. Are we going to show up in our best or are we ditching this one? Stay tuned to find out.
Hello and welcome to Stationery Test Drive, where every week we take ordinary tools and fancy tools and tools that demand that you show up and tell them beforehand. And we try all of these out in artistic ways. That was a segue. I'm a Vishal.
This is Minjal.
I'm a Samir.
Yes, and the Pentel R.S.V.P. This is, boy, strap in, folks. We warned you about this last week if you watched our episode on the IKEA Mala color pencils. These are the Pentel R.S.V.P. They're these big honking. There's the first metaphor right there. Ball pens, they say they're fine. They're got a nice rubberized, hand-holdy, grippy thing. And you can use them as pens. Oh my god, they actually work. I put the pen to the paper and it put down the line. You have no idea how inconsistent this pen is. There it goes. Now it's drying out. And it's balling, and it has already dropped a first ball, and there's a second ball forming, and yeah, I
didn't know we were going to do
live commentary. This is a lively pen. It's good at doing that. And in the inimitable words of the great poet Bono, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. She moves in mysterious ways. Top that, you two. Oh, God.
I was stuck with the blue and red.
Okay.
I believe they're the worst of the set.
No.
It's a
thing. It's each of them has their own magical ability to put down lines when you don't want them to put down lines, and not put down lines when you want them to put down lines. Now we're being especially harsh on this thing because, well, a ballpoint pen has been around for a long time, hasn't it? It's been nearly 100 years. It's gone from being the iPhone of its time.
not quite 100 years. I think about 80 or so in the modern sense.
But Laszlo Biro, who invented it pretty much, has done a lot of engineering that kind of worked out. And yes, then there are gel pens that came after it. There are fine liners, this, that. But the ballpoint pen still holds a certain mystique. It has a sort of cachet, since we're using French words, with people. There are plenty of ballpoint pen artists and things like that. Why did we dislike this pen so much? We're still not kind of, other than all the things that I said, where it's just inconsistent and balling and you can't get the line right. Why don't we just get to our test drives? Because Minjal, you show us what you've done.
So I have a thing or two to say about these, or maybe 20 to say about these ballpoint pens. I tried doodling with them. I tried Zentangles. I tried, doing, filling in alphabet shapes.
Mm-hmm.
I struggled with this pen from the word go. Vishal has already mentioned all the problems.
Mm-hmm.
There was constant smudging. The lines are very inconsistent. The pen, they're good to hold. So maybe full marks to Pentel for that. But I think that's where it stops.
Yeah. Full marks to the product engineering department for making an extremely handsome pen to actually hold in the hands. But the problem happens once you actually try to put down a line. And yes, I can see all the same problems that we had and that we had to work around in ours. But I think this is still a fantastic example of, it's going to be kind of hard to look at the results we've got out of these and then say that it's that bad a pen to use.
Because the thing you have to realize, that this is something we have said through all our episodes, is that you can get decent work or good work out of pretty much anything once you push enough. What we often review is not about what results we get, but how much we have had to struggle or push to get those results.
Yes.
So we've used the big. We reviewed the bigs recently. They're fantastic ball
Those
pens.
are superb.
The Reynolds was great.
Reynolds was
all
great.
the way back in our second
The
episode.
Hauser 4-in-1 was excellent.
Oh yeah, the Hauser 4-in-1. You can let's talk about the cost of these things, because you can probably get 50 Hausers for the cost of one of these or something.
So I believe an individual pen sells at like $1.25, but these are not available in India, thankfully. And I actually got the set for around $12 to $13.
Yeah, that's a steep ask for things that artistically, at least, don't deliver.
And right, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with these pens, honestly. I may not even use them for RSVP, RSVPing, if that is a term. They're not good for writing. I struggled because I didn't realize whether I should put a lot of pressure to get consistent lines or apply less pressure. They're not fun to write with.
Or nor are they particularly fun to draw with, even though, as I said, the results you get out of them look brilliant. I must say that.
Well, the colors are
The
good.
colors are strong. I don't know if they're good, because there's a certain level of, let's say in mine, I did try to layer a little here and there, but other than the colors getting more vibrant, they don't really. I don't know quite how to say this, but like, they don't deepen in terms of value, or when you layer colors, sometimes you get that even out of ballpoint pens. We did that with the Reynolds, where the range of reds that you'd get out of the Reynolds went from a very light pink to a very deep red, pretty much in a few passes. This one, the purples especially, are nice. The greens are a bit waxy and kind of minty and okay. The blacks are perfectly reasonable. They're kind of grey. But yeah, they don't really, I don't know, it's hard to say. They don't deepen to a level where I would say, okay, this is great. And then therefore, because they're also not fun to use, because they ball a lot where you don't want them, sometimes within like 2 or 3 strokes, which I've never actually experienced in a ballpoint pen. Usually I'm used to like putting down about a minute's worth of line work and then finding another ball, whereas here I'd have a ball put down and before I knew it there was another one, and so I just left it in there. I was like, fine, if it ruins it, it ruins it. I'm okay with that. So yeah, not something I would get for precision work, artwork. There are the bigs, they're so much better. There are the Reynolds, they're so much cheaper. This pen is really struggling to find a place in, just like you, Minjal. I'm not sure what to do with this. I would not keep these around. I certainly would not pay $12 for them.
I had pretty much the same issues. I tried to do something where I could illustrate but also do a lot of shading, because I think those are good tests of ball pens.
I don't know if this subtlety comes across on screen, but Samir is the only one who actually did shading with this thing. I kind of laid down a bunch of discrete lines, which, like I said from that quote of the lyrics, it moves in mysterious ways. Samir at least managed to try to wrestle it into putting down tone.
Yeah. So the problem I found. Okay, first let's start with the positives, because this pen has only one positive that I can think of, which is that it's really good at doing these subtle light lines to fill up an area. I'm not saying that it's as good as the Bic at it, but it's pretty good at it, and it has a fairly fine point when you try to do that.
It lives up to the fine that's written on the barrel.
But unfortunately, when you try to actually draw a line, it's not good at that. I mean, it's a very similar issue to what Minjal is having here with just plain writing. The lines are just very inconsistent. You can see these simple curves that I've tried to make. And I've messed that up more than I would with any other ball pen.
Yeah. I mean, we're not expecting fine liner levels of precision from a ballpoint pen, but we are expecting an elegant line, which you can get in other things, especially the Bics.
So it's good at this very sort of flat, fine line shading. If you try to actually tone things and make things darker and lighter, does not work. There's just no consistent way of making sure that, okay, if I go over it for 30 seconds more, it will get darker consistently. No such thing. It just kind of goes all over the place. So cross-hatching with this, not a great idea. Outlining with this, not a great idea, because I can't get a line that's actually clean with it.
Yeah.
If I had to just cover a large portion with a very light line, this is one of the better pens I've used to do that with, for sure. So yes, it's been a very, very mixed bag when it comes to using this pen.
Also, let's face it, 90% of the people, who use ballpoint pens use it for writing.
Exactly.
Now, if this ballpoint pen is not even good at writing, really, why is this being sold?
And I think that's the question we've been asking ourselves even off camera before we, got to talking about it here.
We love Pentel. Pentel's a good company.
Yes, I mean, Pentel is one of our favorite companies, even though we have not covered them extensively.
We've covered the mechanical pencil.
Yeah, we have not covered them extensively when it comes to their pens. But Pentel has a long and great history of making excellent stationery.
Yeah, my favorite pencil, like we said.
We have covered the mechanical pencil. You can see that episode. They started in the 1940s, very much like Sakura, 20 years earlier, making crayons and oil pastels. But very soon, within like a decade, they had made the first sign pen. Pentel is the inventor of the fiber tip pen.
And I love their sign pens.
Yeah.
They are even one of the pioneers in doing what is called a roller ball, so what became the gel pen. So a ballpoint pen, but with a more water or dye-based ink. So Pentel on its own is a great company. We love most of their products.
I was looking forward to this. I picked this up and said, oh, it's a Pentel. I'll really enjoy this.
The reason we picked these up is because while we were looking around for pens that we could cover which are not in our local market, we came across these and they are supposed to be quite popular in the US. So we thought, let's look at what is a normal, everyday ball pen in America. And this is something that came up. The thing that kind of stands out to me about this feels like a Japanese car manufacturer trying to make an old Cadillac or an Oldsmobile.
Yes, it's a big... It's sort of comically big almost.
It's comically big. Like this pen is too big.
For Asian hands.
For my hands. A ball pen doesn't need so much cladding and weight for this extremely thin refill. Yes, it's kind of comfortable to hold, but it doesn't feel like a Japanese pen, this one. So I'm guessing that Pentel very much engineered this for the US market in some ways. And maybe it works for that reason. Just on a physical level.
On a physical level. Like we said, top marks to the product engineering department in terms of the barrel and the housing and all that. The actual pen, the refill, which, let's face it, if you refill this pen, you're going to get another one of these refills and it'll behave the same. Not something that I enjoyed using.
Yeah, I mean, I assume this is a fairly standard sized refill, so it would be interesting to see what a good refill, ball pen refill in this physical
Yeah, I know that there are people.
Would be like.
I think there are people who do that, aren't they? They find refills that are compatible, expensive refills or more performant refills, and they just get a cheaper barrel and then put those in, and then sort of have these weird hybrid.
Yeah, I think cross pens probably sell many more refills than they have sold pens because people do that.
Okay, we should maybe do that at some point. Try out the wolf in sheep's clothing or sheep in wolf's clothing, and yes, all of those things and more are going to be on this channel and also on Inky Memo, which is our website, where you can find stuff about these. Maybe transcripts of episodes are coming out as well, and also sometimes there's a newsletter with stories of the history of things like the Pentel history or the Sakura history. There's plenty to talk about there. You can follow us on the social links that are on screen right now, where we put up these pictures in more detail, so you can like zoom in and have a look at them if you're not watching them a big screen TV like right now. But yeah, this is the Pentel RSVP. We are not RSVPing to its party. But anything else that Pentel wants to do, we are very game. And we will be testing something like that out hopefully soon. And we hope that you will be there along with us to see those tests. Until then, I'm Vishal.
This is Minjal.
I am Samir. And if you want to have a range of colors like this in a ball pen that's actually good, you should look at our Hauser 4-in-1 pen video. We really loved that one. And if you want to have a range of colors like this and even better colors in a much more classic ball pen, look at our BIC video. Vishal?
What else is there left to say? Go home.